Let's face it, most men today are weaker than ever, and I'm not just talking about physical strength, though that's part of it. No, I mean mentally, emotionally. Our generation of men is soft. Sure, we live in a time of unprecedented convenience. You've got everything at your fingertips, food, entertainment, information, all available in seconds. But here's the thing. This comfort, it's slowly making us weaker. Think about it for a second. What happens when everything is handed to you? When you don't have to fight for what you want, you lose the hunger, the edge, the drive. This isn't just about getting out of bed early or hitting the gym, or even pushing through tough situations, though those things matter. They're not the root of the problem. The real issue, it's our inability to endure hardship. We're no longer taught to push through challenges, to embrace discomfort, to learn from failure. When's the last time you truly struggled for something? I mean, really worked for it? Blood, sweat, tears, the kind of work that leaves you exhausted but satisfied? Not just put in a little effort, but the kind that actually builds strength. If you're like most men today, you probably don't even know what that feels like anymore. And I'm not blaming you. We're all part of this culture. But that doesn't mean we can't change. We can. But first, we've got to acknowledge the truth. Most men today, whether we want to admit it or not, are weak. Now, I know that might sting a little, but here's the thing. Facing the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, is the first step toward getting stronger. We've traded resilience for comfort, and comfort is the enemy of growth. This generation is filled with distractions, easy fixes, and a growing mentality of, I deserve this. We've forgotten what it's like to grind, to push ourselves, when it feels impossible, to experience the kind of growth that comes only through adversity. But here's the good news. The solution is simple. It's not about waiting for life to change or for the world to get better. It's about taking control of your own mind, your actions, your habits. So, let's talk about that. How do we toughen up? How do we move from being weak to being the strong men we're meant to be? But before we get into all that, I want to hear from you. Think about this for a second. When was the last time you faced real, tough adversity? Something that made you push harder than you thought you could? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start this conversation. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot. Why society is making men weaker. Let's talk about why men today are weaker. And I'm not just talking about the gym. We live in a world that, for the most part, is incredibly safe and easy, and on the surface, that's a good thing, right? We've got technology that makes life easier, food delivered to our doorsteps, and entertainment that never ends. But this convenience, it's actually making us weaker. Think about it. When was the last time you really had to work hard for something? I mean, really grind. We're living in a time where most things are automated, instant, and easy. It's hard to build real strength in a world where everything is designed to keep us comfortable. Let's break it down. One of the biggest reasons society is creating weak men is because we're no longer encouraged to face real challenges. You see, back in the day, men had to fight for their survival. Whether it was through battle, hunting, or working long hours, life was tough, and that toughness shaped them. But today, we're shielded from all that. Parents wrap us in bubble wrap, schools coddle us, and most of us are raised with the idea that we're entitled to an easy life. When was the last time you had to face real discomfort? I'm talking about situations where you couldn't just quit, where you had to keep going no matter how hard it got. Now, I'm not saying that life today isn't tough in its own way, but it's different. It's not the kind of toughness that forces you to fight for survival. It's the kind of toughness that involves pushing through convenience and luxury, and most men aren't prepared for that. Take a look around. Modern society is full of distractions, screens, entertainment, quick fixes. There's always something to numb the pain of a tough day or the discomfort of growth. But here's the thing, none of these distractions will make you stronger. In fact, they're doing the exact opposite. When's the last time you took a cold shower or went a day without your phone? These little challenges, they make a difference. They teach you how to face discomfort and get stronger because of it. But we're not taught that. Instead, we're taught that we should avoid anything uncomfortable. The message is clear. If something makes you uncomfortable, it's bad. That's why so many men today are weak. We've lost the ability to deal with life's discomforts because we've been told to avoid them at all costs. But here's the reality. Growth comes from discomfort. Every time you push through something tough, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, you grow. This is why Stoicism is so important today. It's not about avoiding discomfort or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about embracing it. It's about facing life head-on, no matter how hard it gets, and using that hardship to become stronger. Now, I want to ask you this. When was the last time you did something that was difficult for you? Something that challenged your comfort zone? Something that made you face discomfort and grow stronger because of it? Think about that. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know discipline, why most men are missing it. Let's talk about discipline, or more accurately, the lack of it. When you look at most men today, one thing stands out. Discipline is disappearing. We're living in a world that's constantly rewarding instant gratification. Want something? You can have it in a few clicks. Need information? It's on your phone in seconds. Want food? It's at your door before you even get hungry. But here's the problem. This ease, it's making us lazy. It's eroding our sense of discipline. Think about the last time you really committed to something and stuck with it. I mean really stuck with it through thick and thin. Not just a quick 30-day challenge or a 2-week diet, but something that required real commitment. Most men today don't have that kind of discipline, and that's a major reason why so many of us are weak. Discipline is the backbone of any kind of strength, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. But how do we develop it? In today's world, we're not encouraged to build discipline. It's not as cool as being spontaneous or following your impulses. No one tells you, hey, stick to a routine, even when you don't feel like it. And honestly, it's no surprise. Everyone's out here chasing the next quick win, the next instant high. But real success, it comes from discipline. It comes from doing the hard thing day after day, even when no one's watching. It's waking up at 5 a.m. to work on your goals, even though your bed is warm and the world is telling you to sleep in. It's sticking to your workout routine when you'd rather watch Netflix. It's making the hard choices, not because they feel good, but because you know they'll pay off in the long run. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do something when you don't feel like it. It's about building the habit of doing things that push you toward your goals, no matter how you feel in the moment. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Discipline is hard. It's a daily grind. It's not sexy, but it works. But here's the thing. Discipline gives you freedom, and not just freedom in the traditional sense, but freedom from your own weaknesses, the freedom to do what's hard and come out stronger for it. You want to be strong. You need discipline. It's as simple as that. So how do we start? Start small. Build consistency. Focus on one thing at a time and stick with it. Don't rely on motivation. That comes and goes. Rely on discipline. That's the key. Think about it this way. What's one area of your life where you're lacking discipline? Maybe it's in your fitness routine, maybe it's your work habits, or maybe it's just showing up every day to make progress. Whatever it is take a moment and think about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's one thing you can commit to today and actually stick with? Let's talk about it. How Stoicism teaches us strength through hardship. We break down how Stoic philosophy encourages us to face hardship head-on and use it as a tool for growth and strength. I know that might sound strange. At first, strength through suffering? That doesn't sound like something you'd want, right? But stick with me here. The Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, believed that life will throw hardship at you. And instead of running from it, avoiding it, or whining about it, they encouraged you to embrace it. You see, Stoicism isn't about being emotionless or pretending that pain doesn't exist. It's about controlling your response to life's challenges. And when you can control that response, you find your strength. In fact, Stoics argue that you don't grow through comfort. You grow through hardship, through facing obstacles and pushing through them. Think about the last time something difficult happened to you. Did you fight through it? Or did you avoid it? Maybe you ran from it. Or maybe you tried to find a quick way out. The Stoic man, he doesn't run. He faces his struggles head-on, and that's what makes him strong. Here's a key idea from Stoicism that can change your entire perspective. Control what you can and accept what you can't. In life, there's so much that's out of our control. The weather, other people's actions, random circumstances. But there's one thing you always control: how you respond. So, when something difficult happens, maybe it's a tough day at work, a personal loss, or even just a really bad moment, don't react emotionally. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, how can I handle this with strength? How can I use this to become better? The Stoic would see hardship as a chance to grow, not something to complain about. Think about how pain becomes strength when you don't avoid it, but face it with purpose. Whether it's a tough workout that pushes your limits, or facing a personal challenge that feels overwhelming, suffering becomes the tool you use to get stronger. Stoicism teaches that you should embrace pain and discomfort, knowing that on the other side, there's growth. Every tough moment is an opportunity to build resilience, to face discomfort and come out the other side better than before. But this isn't something that happens overnight. It's not easy. It's a daily practice. It takes time, and that's okay. What matters is that you start and keep going. Let me ask you this. What's something tough in your life right now that you can face with more strength? What's one challenge you can embrace? Instead of avoiding it, think about it and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about how we can use the tough times in life to build strength. Here's the hard truth. Weakness is a choice. This section challenges the idea that weakness is unavoidable and shows how we can take control by choosing strength instead of comfort. Now, let's get real for a second. Weakness is a choice, and I know that might sound harsh. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, I don't choose to be weak. Life has just been tough. But here's the thing, we live in a world of options. Every day you're faced with choices, and the decisions you make shape your strength. The problem? Most men today don't choose to be strong. Instead, we choose comfort. We choose the easy way out. We choose distraction, and over time, that choice leads to weakness. Think about the world we live in right now. You've got everything at your fingertips. Food delivered to your door, entertainment 24/7, information instantly accessible. But here's the thing. Having everything easy at your fingertips doesn't make you stronger. It makes you weaker. When you don't have to work for something, you lose the hunger, you lose the drive, you start to take things for granted. And then, when life throws a challenge your way, you're not prepared for it. But what if you made a different choice? What if, instead of choosing comfort, you chose the hard path? What if, instead of scrolling through your phone for hours, you picked up a book or worked out when you didn't feel like it? or took on a project that scared you. You see, strength isn't about physical power alone. It's about making the choice to face discomfort every single day. It's about embracing the hard stuff, even when it feels easier to avoid it. Now, I'm not saying you should live in pain all the time. I'm saying that choosing weakness is a habit, and breaking that habit starts with making small, tough choices every day. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with one thing. Want to get stronger? Start choosing the odd path. Wake up earlier, work out harder, take responsibility for your life, push yourself to do things that scare you. It won't be easy, but it will make you stronger. The problem is, most of us don't realize that weakness is a choice. We think life is happening to us. We think we're stuck in our circumstances, but we're not. We have the power to change by changing the choices we make. So think about it. What's one area of your life where you've been choosing the easy way? Maybe it's your fitness, your career, or your mindset. What if you started choosing the hard path instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What's one tough decision you can make today to stop choosing weakness? So, how do you toughen up? Here's your blueprint. All right. Now we're getting into the blueprint for toughening up. I'm talking about real, actionable steps that you can start today to build the kind of strength you need to thrive, physically, mentally, emotionally, and beyond. You might be thinking, okay, but where do I start? Well, let's break it down into 5 key areas that will make a huge difference in your life. First, we've got physical discipline. This one's pretty obvious, right? But let's be clear, getting stronger doesn't just mean lifting weights or running a marathon. It's about discipline in how you treat your body. Start by getting into a solid workout routine. Doesn't matter if it's weights, cardio, or sports. What matters is that you commit. Start small. Maybe it's 20 minutes of exercise a day, but do it consistently, every single day. And then build from there. But it's not just about working out. It's also about your nutrition and sleep. You can't expect to be strong if you're feeding your body junk and running on 5 hours of sleep. If you want real strength, you've got to treat your body like a temple. Feed it well, rest it, and get the movement it needs. Second, let's talk about mental fortitude. This is where it gets interesting. Strength isn't just about the body. It's about your mind. If your mind isn't strong, your body will follow. And let me tell you, your mind is where battles are won. Every day, you face mental challenges, whether it's negative thoughts, distractions, or fear. So, how do you toughen up mentally? Start by practicing meditation. I know. Meditation can sound like some fluffy, new age thing. But it's one of the most powerful tools you have for strengthening your mind. It helps you focus, manage stress, and become more aware of your thoughts so they don't control you. Another tool for mental toughness, journaling. This is an underrated practice. Take 10 minutes each day to write about your thoughts, your goals, your frustrations. Journaling helps you process emotions, track your progress, and keep your mind clear. Next, we've got emotional control. This one's huge. In today's world, men are often told to bottle up their emotions or, on the flip side, to express every feeling that comes up. But the real key is learning to control your emotions, not repress them, but control them. Think of it this way. Your emotions aren't bad, but letting them control you is. Emotional strength comes from the ability to respond, not react. When something stressful happens, take a deep breath and pause. Don't rush into a reaction. Instead, choose your response thoughtfully. A Stoic practice you can use here is the idea of distancing yourself from your emotions. When you feel anger or frustration rising up, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this worth my reaction? Is this in my control? This pause gives you the space to decide how to respond rather than being controlled by the emotion itself. Now, let's talk about social confidence. A lot of men struggle with this, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, talking to women, or just owning who you are in social situations. But listen, confidence is built. It's not something you're born with, it's something you create. Start by putting yourself out there more. Whether it's starting a conversation with a stranger, making a decision without asking for validation, or learning to say no when you need to. These little moments build up over time and will transform your confidence. And lastly, we've got purpose and mission. This is the big one. Strength isn't just about physical power or mental toughness, it's about having a purpose. If you don't know what you're working toward, you'll never reach your full potential. What's your mission in life? What drives you? This doesn't have to be a grand, world-changing goal. It can be something simple, like becoming the best version of yourself, providing for your family, or creating something meaningful. The key here is to choose a goal that matters to you and stick with it. It'll get tough, there will be setbacks, but purpose will keep you going when everything else seems to fall apart. Think about it this way. If you have a strong sense of purpose, everything else falls into place. Your discipline, your mindset, your emotional control, it all becomes easier when you're working towards something meaningful. So here's the plan. Pick one of these 5 areas and start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for motivation. Just start. The first step is the hardest, but once you take it, everything else will start to flow. Here's my challenge for you. Pick one area you want to improve, whether it's your physical discipline, mental toughness, emotional control, social confidence, or your sense of purpose, and commit to it for the next 30 days. Trust me, you'll start seeing results, and those results will keep you motivated to push even harder. Drop a comment below and let me know which area you're focusing on, and if you've got any tips to share. Let's build this community of strong men together, changing your mindset from victim to victor. All right, let's talk about something that's absolutely crucial when it comes to becoming stronger. It's not physical strength, it's your mindset. I'm talking about shifting from being a victim to being a victor. Now, we all face tough times. Life is going to throw obstacles at you. Whether it's a personal setback, a professional failure, or even just a bad day. We all have our moments when things don't go the way we want. But here's the key. How you respond to those setbacks will define your future. The victim mindset says, "This happened to me. I have no control. I'm stuck in this situation." When you think this way, you give up your power. You become passive, reactive, and nothing changes. But the victim mindset says, "This happened, but I can control how I respond. I can use this to grow, to get better, and to become stronger." The victor takes responsibility for what happens to him. He doesn't blame others. He doesn't make excuses. Instead, he focuses on what he can control, and that's where true power lies. So what does this mindset shift look like in practice? Start by changing the way you think about challenges. Instead of seeing them as roadblocks, see them as opportunities. When something tough happens, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this to become stronger? The next time you fail at something, instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself, what's the lesson here? Failure isn't final unless you let it be. Failure is an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to adjust your approach. And let's be honest, life isn't always going to be easy. But the victim mindset isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about embracing it. When you face challenges, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, lean into the discomfort. Embrace it because you know that on the other side of struggle is growth. You have power. You can choose how you respond. You can choose to rise, to move forward, to become stronger with every challenge. But it starts with how you think about yourself and your circumstances. You're not a victim. You're the author of your story, and your story doesn't end with a struggle. It ends with triumph. This shift isn't easy. It's going to take work. But the more you practice, the stronger your mindset becomes. Every time you catch yourself thinking like a victim, remind yourself, I am in control. I choose how to respond. Now here's a question for you. Think about a challenge you're facing right now. How can you shift from being the victim in that situation to the victor? What's one way you can take control, even if it's just a small step? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about how we can change our mindset and take control of our lives. What Stoicism really teaches us about legacy and impact. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about legacy. We've discussed how to toughen up, how to build strength, and how to develop a solid mindset. But there's one thing that will really give your life meaning: legacy. I know what you might be thinking. Legacy, I'm not trying to be a historical figure or change the world, and that's fine. But here's the thing, legacy isn't just about fame. It's about the impact you leave on the people around you, on the world, and on those who come after. You Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, didn't think of legacy in the way we often do. For them, it wasn't about leaving a massive monument or being remembered for generations. It was about living a life of virtue, a life of purpose, and passing that on to others. The real question is, what do you want to leave behind? You don't have to be famous to leave a legacy. Your legacy might be the way you treat others, the way you help people in times of need, or the values you instill in your children. It's not about what you have, it's about what you give. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control how we'll be remembered, but we can control how we live today. You control your actions, and those actions have an impact. Your kindness, your strength, your discipline. These things leave a mark. Think about the people in your life who have had a positive impact on you. Maybe it's a teacher, a friend, or a family member. They might not have been famous, but they've made a difference in your life. That's legacy. So, how do you build your legacy? It starts with living by your values every single day. It's about treating people with respect, being honest, working hard, and striving for excellence. It's about making decisions based on virtue, not comfort. The Stoics didn't worry about external rewards. They focused on being good people, and that's how they built their legacy, by being true to themselves and acting with integrity. But legacy isn't something that happens by accident. It's something you create. Every decision you make today is shaping the impact you'll have on tomorrow. So ask yourself this: what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? What kind of impact do you want to make on the world, your family, and your community? It's never too late to start. Start now by living a life of purpose and integrity. Your legacy begins with the choices you make today. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What kind of legacy do you want to build? Let's share ideas and inspire each other. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Let's continue this journey together. All right, we've covered a lot of ground so far. We've talked about strength, discipline, mindset, and legacy. But now it's time for the final challenge. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you prove to yourself and the world that you're not one of the weak. I want you to stop for a moment. Think about everything we've discussed. Think about the challenges you've faced, the discomforts you've avoided, the moments when you let weakness take over. Now, ask yourself, what's the one thing you're going to do today that pushes you beyond your comfort zone? Because here's the truth: you can watch all the motivational videos you want, Read all the books. Talk about Stoicism until you're blue in the face. But none of that matters unless you take action. Real strength comes from the decisions you make when it gets tough, when you're faced with a choice to be weak or to rise. So, here's my challenge to you. Choose one area of your life where you've been holding back and take action. It could be something small, like setting a workout goal and actually sticking to it. Or it could be something bigger, like having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, taking on a new responsibility at work, or making a commitment to grow your discipline. No more excuses, no more waiting for the right time. The right time is now. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It's about committing to growth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's hard. That's what makes you strong. That's what separates the men who stay weak from the men who rise to greatness. But here's the kicker. No one can do this for you. You're the only one who has the power to make this change. And it starts with you. Think about what you're going to do. Take action and follow through. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to hand you strength. You've got to earn it day by day, choice by choice. And before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What's the one thing you're going to do today that proves you're not one of the weak? Drop it in the comments below. Let's hold each other accountable. And before you go, if you got value from this video, please consider subscribing. It helps me keep making videos like this, and it ensures you won't miss the next part of your journey to becoming the man you're meant to be.